This session is creating a classroom hub with Google Sites. And my husband hates when I use the word hub, so I use it all of the time. A hub is just kind of a place where you can put all of the links, all of the things, everything that you could ever need into one location. We have a pretty busy agenda for today, but I'm going to try to go slow. And if you have any questions, please feel free to interrupt me at any time and we can get those answered. So, I'm Stella, by the way. If you don't know me, which every name I think on the list I'm pretty familiar with, but if you don't know me, I'm the district's instructional technology coordinator. I'm a coach that helps teachers with implementing technology, and I also co-teach with teachers to help them bring that technology into their classroom. So if that's ever something that you need, feel free to reach out to me and we can make that happen. All right. So I have a cheat sheet that I've linked onto that notepad, and I want to put that notepad, the agenda, right back in that chat box in case some of you came in after. But the cheat sheet that I created is just a PDF, and it's going to walk you through everything that we go over for the majority of today's session. And I just realized the link that I put on there is a link to all of the cheat sheets that I created. I'll change that to just have access to the Google Sites one, but it will walk you through making your own Google site. That's that one right there. I'll fix it. All right. So to get to Google Sites, there's a few ways. And sometimes that's really great, and sometimes it's really confusing for people. I know that some of you love the waffle, and you can click there and you can go down to groups, or sorry, not groups, but sites right there, and you can click it. Or you can go to sites.google.com, or inside of Drive, you can go to New, down to More, and create a Google site that way. Because of you use that waffle, I'm going to show you that option. But if you do it through Google Drive and you go down to More and you just pick Google Sites, it's not going to prompt you to do our first step that we're going to do with the waffle. So I'm clicking the I'm so sorry about that. My computer crashed and burned. I'm trying to get it rebooted, so I joined on my phone. That was crazy. I think I crashed Google Chrome. So if you're following along still, you click on the waffle and go down to Sites, and I will be signing back on with my computer once it gets back up. Let's see. Have you ever had a computer malfunction during a class? And it's like, oh, that's fun. All right, it's almost back up. Okay, so sorry about that. That was ridiculous. Okay. Now that we're back, I'll start resharing my screen. If I don't crash it again. Okay, so I'm clicking on the waffle. I'm going to go down to Google Sites, and it's going to take me to the place where all of the sites that I've ever created are hosted. If you don't have any yet, that's perfectly fine. But up here at the top, you're going to see that there's some templates. That's kind of new. I always like to start from creating my own from scratch, but if you want to view that template gallery, you can do that. They have a few options. But if you want to just create one from blank, you're going to click right here on that little Google colored plus button. It'll take it a couple of seconds to create because it is doing magic. So we'll have that there. Thank you, Kristen. And then when you click the plus button and it loads, you have a brand new blank slate. And whenever you first do one of these, this page might seem kind of overwhelming because it's just so blank. But don't worry. After you get started with these, Google Sites is actually one of the most user-friendly tools inside of the G Suite, in my personal opinion. You let me know if you disagree, and we can have that conversation. But to get started, I always want to title my site. The reason why is I have a horrible habit of creating anything like Google Docs, Google Drawings, whatever, and forgetting to put a title on it. And then when I'm trying to find it again, I have a million untitled sites. So make sure that you go up there and you give it a title. For this session, I'm just going to call this one Pollard's PD 2020. If you want it to be a hub and you don't want to call it a hub, you can just call it whatever you want. And then notice that it's going to have it up here, but it's also going to have it right here. Okay, so it's just going to save that title. This page title is what you can call like your header of this page, because on Google Sites, you can have different pages and it can take you to different contents. And I'm going to show you how to do that in just a little bit. So I'm going to just call this one my welcome page. Now, down here at the bottom, you have this big white area. At the main bottom's a footer, so I always don't click on that because it's going to make whatever you add be really small. But right here, you can add text, you can add pictures, videos, really whatever in the world you could imagine that you would need on your welcome page. Over here to the side, you have a view, and it has all sorts of different items that you can add onto your page. If you want to add a text box, you just click the T, and then right here, you can go in and add your text. You can make the text be bold or italicized, center. You all know what all of those different options are. If you want to hyperlink a word, you can highlight that word and click this little thing that looks like a link. And then you can post the URL in there. So I'm just going to post their URL from this chat, and it will underline it. If you want the text to be larger, you can do that by clicking where it says normal text, and it brings up a menu and it gives you a few different options. And then you can also make your text box be smaller just by cropping the sides. Okay, so adding text is pretty easy. It's something that I feel like most of us are familiar with. We've used something that looks identical to that, I'm sure, whether it be Microsoft Word or Google Docs or whatever. You can also add pictures wherever you want to. So if you click images, you can upload directly from your computer or you can select. I'm going to click select. You can post a picture by URL. So if you find one on the internet, you can just grab its URL. You can click there. But my favorite thing, and if I ever do Google Sites with students, I love to show them this Google image search. You just type in whatever it is that you want, and it pulls up a Google search. Now, the best thing about this and pulling pictures directly from this is that all of these pictures are completely user free, meaning there's no copyright violation. You don't have to worry about asking for permission to use these pictures. So I'm just going to pick this one and click insert. And now I can drag and drop it to wherever I want it to go. I can also make the picture be larger if I want to by dragging the corners, but it does kind of crop a little bit whenever you drag it and make it bigger or smaller. So make sure that it doesn't cut off the part that you want. Okay. And then for now, I'm just going to show you one more, and then I'll show you how to add pages and see if we have any questions here. So Google Drive is another option. You can embed Google Drive documents, slide presentations, or whatever it is inside of your Drive by clicking your little triangle that says Drive. And it's going to pull up everything inside of there. You can use your little magnifying lens up here at the top to search for specific things, like maybe I'm doing a lesson over rocks and I want to have that. So I can embed, like click whichever one I want, click insert, and it's going to automatically embed that document, or in this case, that Google form, onto my site. The students will not have to click off of the site in order to see that. Okay, do I have any questions? Because I was trying to run to make up for time, and now I feel like I'm caught up to where I should be on time. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. Seeing or hearing none, I'm going to continue, but if one pops up, I'll be sure to stop and answer that. So on your welcome page, you kind of want to keep it clean and organized and all of that. But over here on this same menu that we went in to add text boxes, images, and things from Google Drive, we also have different tabs, and the middle one is pages. So if I click on pages, it's going to give me the opportunity to create a subpage for my Google site. So I'm going to click this plus sign if it loads, and it's going to give me the ability to add a new page or insert for a link. So like the link would be if you wanted it to go to a specific YouTube channel, or maybe your Google Classroom. You could click that and post the link directly there. That way, whenever the students clicked on that link or that page, it's going to take them directly there. So, well, here we go. Google Meet link. Done. You can also have it to where it opens that in a new tab, and the student, like, it won't take over the Google site. So it'll just open a tab up directly beside of it. And then notice how I now have a home button and I have a Google Meet link button. So if I was a student and I clicked on that, it would take me to the Meet. Just like that. The other option is the new page. So I clicked on the button and I clicked new page. This one I might call homework, or week 1 if we have to go back in NTI form, or if you have students doing NTI in any way. So you can call it week 1, call it whatever you want to, and click done. And it's going to have a brand new page for you, exactly like what the home page looked like at the beginning. You can go back to your insert menu and insert all of those same features that we already talked about. The embed button here is like if you had a Flipgrid or you had a Padlet board or whatever, and you could get an embed link, you could totally embed that directly onto your site. There's not a whole lot of options for that for a teacher use, but if you ever have any questions about, hey, can I embed this? I can help you with that. Just send me an email and I'll be happy to. There's also layouts underneath here. So if you really struggle with organization and you don't want your homepage to look like mine, just a big jumbled mess there, then on the page, you can click on one of these little layout templates and it's going to automatically put these boxes here for you. So maybe like you have a YouTube video that you want to put here. You can do that. And then here you click the plus sign because you have a picture and you want to put it there, or you have something from Google Drive or calendar or whatever. And then underneath that, you can add your text to kind of go along with it. So those are really nice for adding in all of those features and just being a little bit more organized, because sometimes I struggle with being proportionate on my website. There's also, like, if you don't use this, like you click on it and you're like, I don't really like that. That's not what I need. You can click the trash can over here to delete that section. And you can add all of those features in directly from this menu over here. So like, for instance, if you wanted to add in a YouTube video, you click YouTube. You can search for a YouTube video here. Sorry that all of my things are science related. That's where my brain goes. So if you find the video that you want, click on it. And when you click on it, click this blue select button down here, and it will embed that video directly onto your page. So the students won't have to go to YouTube and find that video. So it's going to be really useful. They'll just click this play button and it will automatically play. But make sure that you, as the teacher, go to YouTube and approve that video for students for SCS. So like, you can always click on whatever you've embedded here, and it brings up this little box with an arrow. So you can just click that. Make sure that, pause this video, make sure that you go down and see if it's approved for students. Oh, right there. If it's not, if it's still blue right here, the approved button will be right there. Okay. So you can add, you can add as many videos as, or sorry, not videos. You can add as many pages as you want to. You can add your week 1, week 2, or homework or whatever, because this is still useful even if we don't do NTI. If we go back to school and everything's completely normal and coronavirus just completely disappears, then this will be useful for like a student journal or just another way to communicate with parents. The last thing to show you with pages is that if you click on that, underneath week 1, if I click on these 3 dots over here to the side, it brings up a new little menu, maybe. And I can either duplicate that whole page to kind of keep me from having to recreate the wheel every single time, because my weeks might look like similar with just a new article or a new video or whatever. But I can also add a subpage. And if I add a subpage, it brings up like a little drop down menu over here. So let me just go ahead and create one. Now notice that my week 1 has week 2 under it, and it's going to filter out into one long list whenever I want to edit that. Okay. Do I have any questions so far? The chat box is kind of slow today, and I know it's a Monday directly after a 4th of July weekend, so some of y'all are probably pretty tired like me. But do you have any questions so far?
I have a question, Stella. It's Crystal.
Hi, Crystal.
In your opinion, I'm kind of struggling. I feel like some people might be in the same boat. Like, we have Google Classroom, and then we're creating this hub. Like, what's the best way, instead of having like all these avenues, to infuse it? Does that make sense? Or like, what's your opinion on that?
Absolutely, and I completely understand. So, one of the things, like with Google Classroom, it's really hard for some students to find those links. It's really hard for some parents to navigate Google Classroom because when we were kids, we never had that. So, this is just another option for them. But also, here, if you go to insert, if you don't want to embed a lot onto your site, like you maybe want to have like a little blurb saying, hey, these are the assignments that are due in Google Classroom, you can embed your calendar. And if my calendar pops up, y'all, it's kind of crazy. But let's just say that like you go in and this is the calendar for my Beamline class, my first hour class. I can embed that directly there, and everything that has a due date is going to show up on that calendar. That way you don't really have to do a lot, but you could share that link out with parents, and the parents would be able to see, oh, my kid has these 3 things due. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Thank you. There's a few in the chat here. It says, how do I delete a page?
Okay.
Oh, she found it. And then what's the easiest way to share this with your students?
Awesome. All right. I'll answer both of those in a second. Jessica, I'm going to answer yours again too, just because somebody else might have that same question. But Crystal, going back to yours for just a second, inside of Google Classroom, let's say that you do have assignments posted and you want to link those onto your page. You can go to any of the assignments and click those 3 dots and copy link, and then go to your page and you can hyperlink that to any of the text that you have on there. And then one more idea, and then I'll jump on to the other questions unless we have more conversations about this. But one other thing to keep in mind, this might be a great place to put your screencastify videos or something that you think the students would want to get to over a longer period of time, if that makes sense. Like these would be the materials that you would want your students to have easy access to all the time.
Yes, that's a great idea.
You're the sweetest. All right. Jessica, I do want to answer your question in case people do have questions like yours. So on the Pages tab, if you want to delete, like let's say I want to delete week 2, I don't need it. I can put my mouse over top of it and those 3 dots pop up. I click on that and I can delete that page. If it's the summer and I'm working on things and I don't want students to be seeing everything all at once, I can click hide from navigation and then click on those 3 dots again when things get closer, and then the students will be able to see those. But right now, notice that my week 2 is kind of hidden from viewers. But if I go in and click show in navigation, it pops right back up. Casey says, what is the easiest way to share this with your students? So, Casey, when we publish our site, we'll get a link. And I think the easiest way, I'm going to show you a few options in a little bit. But like if you use Remind with your students, you could do that. You could post it inside of Google Classroom. However you get your links to students. Or if you mail things to your students, you could also have a QR code, and I'll show you how to do all of that in just a second. Janice, the waffle is kind of like, my computer's frozen again. There we go. So like if you are on any of the G Suite stuff, I'm just going to go to google.com. The waffle is this icon here, and it's on most of the Google tools, like it's on Google Drive. It's everywhere. You can click that, and it's just got all of the apps listed for Google. Okay. All right. Great questions. Awesome. Thank you, Janice. If you have any other questions, feel free to use that chat box. I love getting the messages because it helps me just to make sure that I'm slowing down and making sure that we don't have any misconceptions or anything. Okay. So one of the last things to show you about being an editor is that there are themes, and although you can't really change your fonts like you probably would want to, because I love to look at fonts, you can change your themes, and each theme has a different font. So I really use Diplomat quite often. I don't know why. I just like that one. And when you click on one, you can go in and you can change its theme color. I don't like these colors. I usually click the paint bucket and I pick my own color. Like, I really want it to be pretty. And that's going to be part of your text color too. So make sure that's something that's appealing. And then on font style, you can pick classic, light, or heavy for each of these different options. And it will change that. Is my screen small for everyone? Or is it normal size? On my side it looks like it's going to go into a dungeon, but on my side it looks normal. Janice, you might try refreshing your screen to see if maybe that can help. Oh, one other thing. Never mind. I know what it is. So sorry that my screen is going to go crazy. Let me just pull that right back out. So move your mouse around on your Google Meet screen and see that bar that pops up at the bottom with the microphone, the phone, and the web camera, and click the 3 dots. And then go to change layout and pick Spotlight. It's probably got me on a grid view for you if I'm tiny. All right. If that doesn't work, just try refreshing your page and you'll have to come back in and maybe it'll fix it. Okay. A couple more things before we talk about more about how we can use this as a hub and how to get it to the parents and all of that. You can change your on each of these pages. So move your mouse around on your screen and it's going to give you the opportunity to change the image. You can upload an image directly from your computer, or you can click select image like we did before. They do have a gallery and you can do a Google search. If you click upload, that's all of the pictures on your computer. So let's just pretend that I want this one. It's going to be totally not what we want, but yeah. Make sure also that your picture is the appropriate size for your header. If you have one that you don't like, you put on there and you don't like it because it kind of stretches it, you can go to something like Google Slides and change the size of it, or you can just make it smaller in whatever you created it in. Sometimes though, for pages, I don't like to have a header, so I can just go to header type and make that be title only. And then I don't have a big picture up there. Or I can make it be cover and make it be super big, super large and in charge. There we go. Now it all fits. But you can do that for every individual page. So you can change that header and it will be there. Okay. So that's pretty much it as far as editing goes. I do have some settings stuff to talk to you about, but if you have any questions about the editing part, feel free to drop those into the chat box and we will get those answered, or you can hop onto the microphone if you're feeling the need. That's not the word that I wanted to say. If you're feeling a little bit adventurous. Melissa, did that help your screen? No, not Carrie and Janice. I bet that it was trying to do a grid view for you all. All right. So up here at the top, you have your undo and your redo buttons, kind of like what you're familiar with from other sites. But right here, this little computer and little phone icon is what the preview is. So if you want to see it as a student instead of as a view mode, you can click that. And it's going to give you the option to see it in a large screen like a Chromebook or a laptop or computer. You can also view it on tablet, what it would look like on an iPad or maybe a Kindle Fire or a phone. So it looks a little different in each of those layouts, and those options will give you the opportunity to see them. And then you can click your X button to get back to your editing page. If you want to share with others, like let's say that you are on a team of math teachers and you're wanting to do a math website, or maybe you are a third grade teacher and you want all third grade teachers to be part of this and editing the same site, you can click this little person here and you can add them as collaborators. So we'll add Jimmy Pat because I've been adding him as everything. I'm not going to press send because he's probably really annoyed with me, but you can add them as a collaborator there. So editor or a published viewer. But if you want to just share with your students, you'll click this little link here, which will not be available until we publish. And I'll come back to that in just a second. The settings wheel has a lot of awesome things inside of there. So if you click your settings wheel, you can change your navigation mode to top or side. And the easiest way to explain that is just to show you what it looks like. So if I click, like I've got it on the side now, and notice I don't have my titles up here at the top anymore, but I do have them if they click on these three bars. To me, that looks cleaner, but not everybody knows to click the three bars, even though most websites are going to that now. But it will just filter all of your pages directly there. And then you can also make your colored menu be transparent or whatever color, like white or black. Got lots of options there. And then brand images, all of those are kind of just like the favicon will be, you know how when you go to Franklin County schools, you get like this little favicon picture of our logo. So you can upload your own logo. And then all of these awesome little other tools like announcement banner. You might want to say, check your email or whatever. And it will pop up as an announcement whenever people go to your page. Okay. Janice, let's see. It's showing up. I'm also logged on my phone too, and it's showing up. So, Janice, try clicking on up at the top of your Google Meet window. Do you see the two people and it's got the number 31 on it? Click on that, the two people with the number 31, and then find where it says Stella Pollard presentation, I think is what it'll say on yours. And click on that one and see if it will let you pin that to the home screen. Let me know if that worked, Janice, when you get a chance. Sean asked, how can we make this the home screen for our kiddos? Sean, what grade do you work with? Okay. Let me work with Jimmy to see what we can do, because I think, I don't want to answer for Jimmy, but I really think that we could force this to open on their screen whenever they get there. I'm going to make myself a note so I'll make sure that I'm not lying to you, but I will get back with you. I'm almost certain, because I know that we can do it for littles. So I'm pretty sure we can get that for you. Janice, did that work? Oh, you're going to.
No.
Did you click on where it says people?
No.
Awesome. Thank you.
There it is. I just got it.
All right.
Thank you.
So just a couple more things. We clicked on the settings. We talked about that. If you click on the three dots, you can go in there and you can duplicate the site if you want to. You can click version history, and the version history will just show you a play-by-play of every time the site was changed and who made changes. So if you work with a team and somebody accidentally deletes something, you can go back in, click on that time, and restore that version. And it will just go all the way back to whatever it looked like at that point. But the duplicate site is really nice if you have, like, if you want to just make a whole copy of the site for maybe next school year or whatever. And then the rest of these, if you have a problem or you want to take a tour, you can click on one of those. So finally, we have the publish button. And the publish button will first ask you to publish your site, and it wants you to change the web address. It's going to automatically make it be whatever you've titled the site, and you'll always be able to get it when you click on this link button, so you don't have to try to remember all of that. But if you don't want the URL at the end to be that, but you want it to be Pollard, nope, not that. You can do that. That's already taken, probably by me. And then down at the bottom, if you plan on sharing this site with families, if you plan on sharing it with anybody that is not in Franklin County Schools, click Manage, and then go down here to where it says Links, and change it to where Publish Site, Franklin County Public Schools, anyone at SCPS can find and open. Click that to public, and then anybody with the link will be able to see it. I really recommend making it be public for not only just so parents can see it, but so students can see it as well on their phones. Because if they do not have their student account signed in and they're trying to see the site on their phone, it's going to automatically say, sorry, you need permission. And then you as a teacher are going to get about 20 emails or more from that same kid. So when you get finished, you can click done and they'll be able to get it. So publish. It takes it a second. And then you can click on this little link here and copy that link and paste it to wherever it is that you give your students links, maybe Google Classroom or whatever. If you want to put a QR code on your newsletter, let's say that you're mailing it out, or we have some type of open house to where students can come in and get papers or whatever, then you can just go. I always just do a Google search for a QR code generator. There are some on a extension if you want to do that. I usually go with just one of the first two because they're free and they work. And then you can make your own QR code. So I'm just going to paste that same link. And it will pop up a QR code over here once my computer decides to work. There we go. And then I can download that and put it wherever it is that I want it to go. Mandy, are you talking about the QR code generator? I love QR codes. And if you don't know this already, your camera on your Android or iPhone, just open up your camera like you're taking a picture, and it will automatically open up a QR reader for you. You don't have to have a certain app on your phone anymore to be able to do that. I love it. I use it all the time. Yeah. So we're going to talk, we're going to brainstorm some ways that we can use this as teachers to get links to students. But I also, for those of you who teach littles all the way up through high school, I've had first graders this past year do a Google Site book report over an animal that they chose, and they had to go in and add pictures, and they added text and everything, and they made really, really cute sites. So although today's focus, like the end of this, we're going to wrap it up by talking about how we can make it a hub for our class, but don't forget that students can do this too. Students can create their own sites. They can have these as digital portfolios, which there is a Google training for that. They can have them on like just a research project or whatever. So don't forget. Okay. Oh, Mandy. Yes, absolutely. You do want to make sure that you have it public because of all the emails, because nobody likes getting all of those request access emails. It makes me feel kind of like I'm going crazy because I should remember always to make it public, but I never hardly do for the first time. Okay. So if you have the agenda open still, I'm trying to load mine back up from when my computer crashed a while ago. At the main bottom of that, you're going to see a link with a Padlet board to it. And I figured instead of everybody trying to go in and make comments in the chat box, it might be just a little easier to organize on a Padlet. And I just wanted to give you all kind of a landing spot to go in and think about how we could use Google Sites to interact with our students, families, communities, maybe school teams or whatever. If you've never used Padlet before, I'm going to post the link to it in the chat box over here. If you've never used it, in the bottom right-hand corner of this link, there's a pink button with a plus sign on it. When you move your mouse over it, it changes that to a pencil. You can click on that and you can type a title. You can type subtext down here. You can add whatever you want to. So I'm going to give you all a few minutes to go in and add your own thoughts and opinions there, and then we'll come back in just a couple minutes. But if you have any questions, I'm still here. And no sooner did I say I'm still here, did my computer crash one more time. In between sessions, I'm going to have to run home and get my Chromebook because my computer's having struggles. I'm getting back to the Padlet and I'm getting back to online on my computer. No. Okay. So while you all are finishing up, because I see some great text going on, I want to say that this Padlet board, and I know that Padlet is not free. You get, I think, 3 free ones, but you can delete and reuse those same 3 free ones over and over. That's what I did. I just went in and deleted a really old one that I had. And then you can always print these pages. So like, you press right print. Oh, sorry, share. And then you can print these pages or save them as PDFs and then just delete that Padlet. But I say that because if you ever use Padlet, you can click that share button and scroll down, and it says embed on your blog or website. So you can click that and you can copy that link and post it onto your website. And then parents or students can get on there and they can type in their comments. Within the settings of Padlet, you do have the opportunity to go in and change the settings to where you as the creator have to approve those posts. So if you worry about your students getting in there and saying something inappropriate, then you can do that. I heard my chat bubble. Oh, maybe. So there's no like really, there's a couple of workarounds for it. And I'm afraid my computer is going to crash again. If it does, I'm just going to go ahead and post the sign in sheet before I show you that. That way you're not just sitting there like, what the heck happened to Stella? Why is it so quiet? Because she's always so loud. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add the links to the sign in sheet into the chat in just a second here. But Mandy, I will get to your question. I don't know what's up with my computer. Actually, I do know what's up with it. I have to do the board meeting tonight. I have to put it live on YouTube, and the software that we use to do that, I think, is what really has slowed my computer down today. So I need to go in and just restart my computer. All right. So on the agenda that I shared out a little bit ago, I've added a sign-in form and I've added the anonymous feedback form. And I'm also going to post those into the chat box whenever my computer starts working. So the sign-in form first. Make sure that you do, make sure that you click on that link. make sure that you fill it out and put in your Franklin County email address. And please make sure that you put your Franklin County email address in correctly, because sometimes I get those message failed to send and it comes in a chain, and I overlook those sometimes. So I want to make sure that you get the video that I send out. And then the second link that I'm going to post is going to be anonymous feedback. Maybe.
Stella, the link that you just posted says anonymous.
Okay, I've got it backwards then. Thank you, because that's what I was just trying to figure out. My computer's being so slow that I'm like, what did I do? Okay, hang on. I may have posted anonymous feedback twice on that Google Doc. Let me get that. So the one that I just posted is my anonymous feedback. Sorry. Glitching. Okay. Well, it's definitely a Monday. Let me try one more time. My computer's hating me today. But you all have been a great crowd. Thank you for bearing with me through all of my computer malfunctions. Luckily, I have my phone to hop in between those. Okay. Sorry for that delay. Sorry. Okay. I was talking, my microphone was off. Since I don't want to keep you all past the hour, I'm just going to take a screenshot of everybody's name who is in here. That way I have everybody on here. And I'm just going to post those somewhere. That way I can send them to CJ so you all get your hour. Give me just a second and I will have it ready. All right. Okay, I've got screenshots of everybody from in here. I'm so sorry about all of my technical difficulties, but if you have any questions, feel free to stay around, and I'm going to try to get my computer working good. We have another session coming up at 11, and that one's going to be creating a podcast for your class, and I promise that if I cannot get my computer working, I will have my Chromebook and I will not have all of these technical difficulties again. But if you have questions, drop them in the chat box. If you do not, you're more than welcome to go ahead and hop off. Janice, I took a picture of everybody that was in here. Riley, I knew it was you. I got you, girl. You got it. But I'm just going to type out the attendance and send it to CJ. That's very true, Melissa. So true. I'll get it fixed before next session, though. Thank you, Nathan. And Mandy, I'm going to answer your question that you had before my computer randomly kicked me again. So, do you know how when you clicked on pages and you go down to the plus sign and you have the two options? You have the link button and then you have the new page button. If you click the link button, you can put a link directly to your Google Classroom and it will pop up on that menu up there at the top. If that makes sense. I can try to share my screen again, but I really think my computer just needs to be shut down for a second and then reboot it because I've confused it to death. Thank you all so much. Thank you so much, Shelly. I'll make sure you all get your PD hours. Looking at my pictures just now to make sure they were still good. Kristen, that's perfectly fine. And if anytime in the future you have questions, you know I'm just an email away. I got you, girl. Oh, you're the sweetest. Thank you so much. You all don't forget, I'm always here if you need anything.